A'ndre Davis, and I am a singer, actor, songwriter from New Jersey. I've been doing it now for a little over 10 years. How did I actually come into this business? Well, it wasn't always a dream of mine. I thought about it when I was younger. My grandmother would make me sing, but my goal at that time was to work for the post office, ironically, because my family all worked for the post office. So I thought I was going to work at the post office and become a manager and happily ever after. It wasn't until college, one of the females I was dating, she was doing a play, and they needed a guy who could act and sing. So I went down just, following her, and I got the part. And from there, a couple of other directors saw me, and so I was cast into a couple of different other plays, and from there I got bit by the bug. I got my first deal when I was about 25 with Easy Deuce Records. It's an independent New York-based label, and from there I was able to open up for some of the best in R&B, including Patti LaBelle and Tina Marie, Jaheim, Tank. Did a lot of work with the radio station, did some work with Wendy Williams. And now I'm just working on my next EP that's slated to be released in the spring of 2014. So I'm still with the same management actually when I started. Darren Dowdy, he's been great the entire way. We've had our ups and downs like any relationship, like any manager-artist relationship. And I know now that it was really because of me being too eager at the time. But the good thing is, I have somebody in my corner that definitely has my back, that definitely wants the best for me. So I was glad that we were able to reconnect. While we were together, though, I did put out my first album, which is entitled A New Song. The single, What I Gotta Do, which was the single that we pushed. We did a video for it.
I know I messed up with that other girl. Should've never let her in our world. And I realized what I did was wrong. But let me explain. Now hold on, there's no excuse for me to cheat. But you gotta know that I'm sorry, and I'm ready to make it up to you. Whatever I gotta do, don't you go. Baby, stay with me. Don't you walk away. Baby, don't you leave. Give me so much pressure. Go where you are. Never far. Wanna stay forever and ever go where you are. Don't want you to go. No, do not. To show you just how much I care.
It wasn't centric with BTJ. It was picked up on BTJ. A bunch of different other stations. It played on WBLS for the summer that it was released, so we were able to do some great things, man, and I'm looking forward to doing even more with this next EP, which is entitled Shades of A. It'll be coming out next year, and I use Shades of A because it's going to kind of reflect a couple of different genres, but I'm doing them all my way, so that's where I came up with the name Shades of A. Looking to do some more shows. We have some things lined up for 2014 that are just about solidified, but not just yet, so I can't release them too soon. But things like R&B Spotlight, like I was blessed to be able to do an R&B Spotlight. I opened up for Little Mo. Since the video in, Corey Taylor, who's the founder of R&B Spotlight, he saw it, and he had me on, and it was a blessing, man. It was a great show.
But I think we should take it slow. We're just ordinary people. We don't know which way to go, because we're ordinary people. Maybe we should take it slow. Take it slow.
Like any other show, we have our mishaps, and there were some mishaps there, but we got through it. We got through it.
I can taste the honey that's in your jar. For the biggies that hit the floor. If less is more, take a little bit more of it. Take a little bit more of it. Take a little bit more of it. Take a little bit more. You need to focus less on the past, more about us. My sticks in park too long, tanks full, I'm ready to bust. Your road's wide open. Baby, don't leave when I'm just joking. Hard to get only words, but you're hanging out your skirt and that.
And so yeah, I'm just looking forward to 2014. I've been blessed this year to do a lot of plays. I've done a lot of theater this year. After the Walk, Underneath It All, featuring Kiara Sheard. Just a ton of plays this year that kept me working, kept me busy. And hopefully 2014, what I'm looking to do is combine that along with reintroducing my music. So 2014 should be a pretty busy year for me. As far as the CD, like a new song, I really draw a lot of inspiration from older singers. Like my biggest inspiration is Donny Hathaway. Following Donny Hathaway would be Stevie Wonder. So I like that old school, that soul sound. And that was reflected on a new song where we tried to, I worked with a new group of producers, they were called the Cavemen, and what we did was we combined that old school soul with new school, and that's where New Song came from. So those are really my biggest inspirations. With Shades of A, it's still going to be soulful because that's just me, I'm a soulful singer. But it's not so more a combination as it is just me doing me. It wasn't really strategic. It was very organic. If I felt it, we did it. You know, I really is no better way to put it. I didn't go into it with a game plan. It was just, if a song came to me, however it came out, we recorded it, and they just so happened to be different. So I'm looking forward to this because it'll show my supporters a different side of me, definitely. Well, growing up, my grandmother, she was that praying grandmother. She kept me in church, and she was the one who encouraged me to sing when I was younger, when I did not want to do it. She kept me singing, and I never took it seriously, but I have to credit her with the one God using to actually get me here, because without her making me do that when I was younger, I probably would have never ventured out to do that now. My parents, my mom, she does not sing at all, but she is absolutely my biggest supporter through everything. Like, she's pushed me more than I would push myself, and she's literally just been that rock behind me. And I would not have been able to do as much as I have been without her support. My dad actually does sing, and he's a pastor now. So I have to credit him and his side of the family because that's where most of the singers come from. My mom's side, we don't have too many singers. My uncle, Joseph Thomas, he's an accomplished saxophonist. So I've actually drawn some inspiration from him when I get into some of the more jazzier aspects of what I do. Yeah. Once again, I am A'ndre Davis, singer, songwriter, actor. Playwright is coming soon. Please, if you have the time, check me out. My website is aLgProduction.com. My Facebook, my Twitter, /AllAboutAndre. Instagram, /AllAboutAndre with the number 4. So you can catch me on the web. I'm always up there. I'm always speaking to everyone, so don't be shy. And again, thank you for having me. I look forward to blessing you with the gift that God gave me, and hopefully you'll enjoy it.
Well, let me introduce myself. Bradd Marquis, BRADDMARQUIS, R&B soul singer. Pretty much got my start was about 4 or 5 years old. I was born into this. My grandparents had 10 kids. All of them sing. Grandma sings. Grandfather, had a little quartet, all of that stuff, as he was coming up, a little something he played around with. So when I was born, it was kind of all natural. I mean, they threw me in front of the church at about 4 or 5 years old and had me singing in front of the whole congregation, all that. So I'm assuming I was probably singing the whole, way before then if they, felt confident enough to put me in front of the church. So I've been doing this mighty long time and way before I remember. So that's kind of how I got my start in it. Coming up, singing in front of the church in Jersey, Trenton, New Jersey is where I'm from. So just, singing in front of Trenton, New Jersey and doing it that way. My aunts and uncles and they formed a group called, a gospel group called Friends and Family. And they used to travel all up and down the East Coast, kind of Kirk Franklin style, just performing in different churches and things of that nature. And most of my family was either the children's choir or the main choir at the church. So it was just when I was about 12 years old and got away from music and fell in love with basketball. So basketball was kind of my thing for a long time. And music was just something I could do, something I would do to get the girls or get a girl's attention or something. But it wasn't something that I really, cared for all like that. Especially not being around my family and not being able to sing with them as much as I used to. It just didn't take on the same energy and the same vibe as it used to. But a crazy thing happened. Jodeci happened. Mary J. Blige happened. Father MC happened. All of that whole Uptown movement with Guy and New Jack Swing and all of that just set it off for me, man. And after I heard Casey and JoJo, I was like, yo, this is crazy. It's this, Boyz II Men to me was cool. I was definitely a Bobby Brown fan, New Edition fan. Boyz II Men was cool, but all their harmonies were just so clean. And it was like, it was all right. But when Jodeci hit and those, seemed like 4 lead singers coming at you from different angles and then they would all mesh and it just sounded just like something I've never heard before in my life. It's incredible, and I was like, I wanted to do that. I wanted to create that. So kind of, started writing songs, teaching myself how to write songs by taking songs that were already out there and changing the lyrics, changing them into gospel songs, and ended up getting into a gospel group. It was 2 girls, 3 guys, and no, I'm sorry, 3 guys, 2 girls. And I was the writer, so we would change the songs for the like a Brandy, I Want to Be Down, and just change the song and perform into a gospel song and perform it in front of the church, when I was in Ohio. So I was kind of the start on the whole writing tip. And once I went off to college, I was still a basketball head, mind you. But once I went off to college, basketball kind of took a back seat to the school and all of that stuff. And music really wasn't on the burner either because, it was just something that I was doing, but I loved it. And they had a talent show and my friends came in from out of town and, they wanted to go to the show. I didn't want to go to the show. I didn't want anything to do with the show because I had made myself a hot ass on campus, excuse my language, but I like to say when you are who you are, from the beginning, you just are who you are. And, on campus, I got a lot of attention. Me and my crew got a lot of attention. We got attention like if we were, alphas or kappas or, Qs or basketball team, football team. We got that kind of attention. So to me, it was too much attention because it started, my name ended up being in the streets a lot, and people lying on me, saying things about me, and I was just like, yo, I just want to get away. I want to move off campus. I don't want to deal with this anymore. I got women saying they did stuff with me and I didn't do. I'm just like, yo, it was a headache. So I was like, yo, I'm just stay low key until the end of the year, move off campus, clean, start fresh, start clean. So my friends came into town, they want to go hang out. So I'm like, nah, I want to hang out. So they made me. So I dressed up in the most bummiest, hoodiest thing that I could find, scruffy face, just fine. Sat in the back of the auditorium, auditorium fit about 500 people. It's probably about 300 people in there to see the show. It's a fashion show / talent show. They have fashion skits, talent. So my friend's like, yo, we can't sit back here. Everybody in the front. So they made me move to the front. So I knew the host and hostess. They spotted me in the crowd. They came up to me. They knew I sang. They was like, Brad, we need one more act. We don't have enough talent. Can you sing? And I'm like, absolutely not. I'm not getting up there. I'm not singing. I'm just here entertaining my friends. From that moment on, everybody and their mama started coming up to me. Brad, you gonna sing tonight? We heard you gonna sing tonight. Brad, you gonna sing tonight? You gonna sing? My friends in my ear. Brad, you gotta sing. You gotta sing. And I'm just steadfast. Not gonna happen. So the host and hostess sending little innuendos and things from the stage. Hey, we got a special guest for you tonight, and he's not in your your bulletin, but he's gonna bring the house down. I'm like, it's not happening. I don't care what's happening. This girl I was trying to date, what was her name? I remember her last name was Jackson because it was the same as mine. So she comes up to me and she was like, just try to punk me out. I can't believe you would sing to me in class, but you wouldn't get up here and do this for that. You little punk. Don't try and talk to me, none of that. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm still not singing. So end of the night comes, lights in the auditorium go out. Spotlight hits me in the middle audience. Crowd goes crazy. Deafening. Couldn't hear a thing. It was so loud. Either you sink or you swim. You get up, you go to the stage, or you walk out and you run and you're running forever. So I walked to the stage, sat on the stage, sang a song, got up, walked off the stage. Didn't hear a thing. The host and hostess look, Brad. I look over, he was like, turn around. I turn around, pandemonium. Everybody banging on the stage, my ears opened up, and it was just, crowd was just going crazy. Lights in my face. It was bananas. Everybody taking pictures. It was crazy. At that moment, I was like, I want to do this. I can do this. And ever since then, and it snowballed from there. People started running up to me after the show. I want you to be in my group. I want to meet you. I want you to meet such and such. So, I did some scouting and I ended up in a group, a 4-person group called Mass Appeal. And we did little local shows, and I started to get back into writing. They showed me how to write. They showed me how to create tracks and music, and they introduced me to a producer by the name of Angelo Ray. And Angelo Ray worked with Babyface, and he was in the Babyface camp, and he did a lot of, he was a big local producer. He was a big producer, And he did a lot of stuff for Jade, and his biggest work, or one of his biggest works, were a song called 24/7 on Kevin Edmonds' album. But it's just so ironic because Angelo Ray is the person who produced my current album, Thank You, that I have out now. So it's just funny how everything just comes full circle. I got involved in the music scene and learned the things that I need to learn in Cincinnati, and after I graduated, I moved back to Jersey and premiered on Showtime at the Apollo. Got
Coming from over the bridge in Jersey to make his mark, please help me welcome Brad. Let him in, Apollo. Brad.
I was going for about 3 or 4 years, that one performance of me singing Donny Hathaway, A Song for You.
I love you in the place where there's no space or time. I love you for my life, for your friend tonight. And when this life is over, remember when we were together and we were alone. We were alone and I was singing this song.
Ran into a few producers in New York, recorded my first album, Finding My Way. There was a song on Finding My Way entitled Radio that everybody just fell in love with. Everybody knew the song. They really didn't know me. They knew the song. It was spinning on the radio, but nobody even knew who did the song. It actually got me on 106 in Park. And I performed on 106 in Park twice back in 2007, and they crowned me. It was a competition Wild Out Wednesdays, and they crowned me Soul Singer of the Year, 2007. From there, everything just kind of snowballed. Ran into this person and that person. You know, it's a learning experience because when I was on 106 & Park, I didn't even have an album out. I had an album done. I didn't have an album out. You know, and it's everything just happened so fast from like the moment I moved to New York to the moment I got on 106 & Park was probably less than 6 months.
Like a heartbreaker over here. What's your name?
Bradd Marquis.
Bradd Marquis. Lady? And where you repping?
Trenton, New Jersey. Where you at?
Okay. I see you got your fan club out here already.
Let's do what it do.
So tell me about your original song that you're gonna sing.
Oh man, it's called Radio. My guy Noble came to me with the track. I finished it up, and hopefully we got a hit on our hands. We'll let the people tell me that.
Well, we gonna let them find out. Y'all make some noise for Bradd Marquis all the way from Trenton, New Jersey. Voila.
I can listen to my radio.
Yeah. 106. And I didn't know anything about the music business. I was kind of dependent on a lot of other people to help me navigate the situation, and you know, the advice wasn't always the best or informed enough, you know, for a lot of different reasons. But you know, everything has been a learning experience, and you know, that moment of 106 & Park and everything that happened that year, like, you know, I met R. Kelly and did a bunch of shows, and R. Kelly came to one of my shows and gave me a standing ovation, you know, and you know, it was just so many little things. Ended up meeting Tamia and her management team, and they wanted to put me on tour, so I toured for 2 years with Tamia. I did it was called the Soul Summer Tour, and 1 year it was with Tamia and Jaheim and Gordon Chambers, Hal Linton. The next year was with Tamia, India Ari, Gordon Chambers, Blue Magic, Cameron Corbet. Like, there was a lot of dope artists on that tour. And, you know, so it kind of, you know, got the blood flowing and got me going. And probably about 2008, towards the end of 2008, I was, like, my production team that I had worked with on the first album, Finding My Way, my main producer, Cochise, had moved back to Buffalo, New York, where he was originally from. And he had, his family owned a theater in Buffalo, New York, Ujima Theater. And they asked me if I wanted to audition for a play that they were doing. So they flew to New York. I auditioned in like a restaurant, and I knew I was terrible. I had never, you know, formally acted, you know, no real experience acting and all of that outside of music videos that I had shot, and they were like, you were great, we want you to do it. I know I was terrible. So I flew to Buffalo, New York, or drove to Buffalo, New York, because I had all my stuff with me, because I was not moving back to New York City, or Brooklyn, because, you know, Brooklyn, it's living in New York at the time, no money, starving artists, all of that's hard. And I always say, you just might as well just drop $50 on the ground when you walk out of the house. That's how expensive it is. Just put it on the ground, just walk away. So just getting from one place to where you gotta go, and some food to eat in between it. Yo, just put $50 on the ground, walk away. So I ended up moving to Buffalo, New York for about 6 months, 7 months, and I did this play. I was the lead character. It was Oscar Brown Jr. in the beginning, musical satire. I was Adam. And I wanted to do this play because I felt when I performed, I was too scared, too nervous. I was too much Bradd on the stage, and I wanted to learn how to perform and learn how to be a different character and learn how to control myself and in turn control the audience. So I knew where I was going. There were some phenomenal, legendary people who could teach me how to do that. You know, Rodney Appleby, legendary bassist, writer, producer, singer. Lorna C. Hill, legendary actress, director, woman, activist, you know, civil rights activist. She's incredible. And I knew these people would instill the confidence and skill in me to become a better artist. And that's exactly what they did. They broke me down and rebuilt me, you know, showed me how to control my talent, and gave me the confidence, because if they believed in me, there was no reason I shouldn't believe in me, because they were harder on they kick you out. You ain't that, you ain't that. So that's exactly what they did, and they brought, you know, the right people around me to help build me, you know, as a performer. And the run was about a 4-month run, 4 nights a week, 2 hours a night, and we sold out, you know, the majority of the shows. Got great reviews. You know, like I said, I was the lead character, so that was absolutely a reflection of me and my talent, which to me is still priceless. You know, it's like being the quarterback on the football team, you know, and you know, the point guard of a basketball team, and that's exactly what it was. And the energy was from the day one to the day we stopped was just all love, all community, in that. And you know, one thing that I value is everybody who was in that show came up to me and said, Brad, you know, this never happens. The type of community and the type of love, and there were no infighting, no bickering, nobody wanted anybody else's spot. There was no any of the negativity. It was all love from day one to the end, all support. And they said, Brad, this never happens. And we feel that as a reflection of you and how you handled everybody. I didn't come in there like I have a name or I'm this dude or I'm that dude. I came in like, I need you guys to teach me how to be better. And they all kind of galvanized around me and said, okay, cool, you know. And so to me, that will forever be, you know, a priceless moment in my life and in my career. Another thing, I did say I was Adam in the Garden of Eden. You know, he was nude. I had to rock a nude leotard the whole show. No shirt, no shoes, tight spandex leotard. Yo, if you don't get hard after that, you will never get hard. You know, just like, yo, after that, you can't get nervous or scared on stage. Like, come on, people see everything you got. All them church women walking around in there, man, with the cat calls. They some of the worst ones, man. Older church ladies who ain't seen it in a while. Right. So, after that, man, you know, moved back to Jersey. You know, living and falling on some, you know, things were kind of crazy because I had a management team who was supposed to piggyback on that moment. You know, my management team, when I moved back from Buffalo, didn't have anything ready for me. There was no studio to go into to record an album. There was no other shows to, you know, to piggyback off of, to make any money off of. There were tours. There was nothing. You know, and there was supposed to be something that depended on them to have something ready for me, and they said they were, and they didn't. You know, and other opportunities that I had set up that they were supposed to manage also fell through for whatever reason. So I had nothing. Had to move back home with mom, you know, and while I was home with mom, I decided, you know what, I'm gonna take advantage of this this gift that I was given from Buffalo, and I'm gonna do a one-man show. I want to do a tribute to Sam Cooke, you know, who is one of my favorite, you know, celebrities or public figures. I say public figure because to me he was more than an artist. You know, he was an activist. He was an astute businessman because, you know, back in the you know, the 50s and 60s, he owned his own record label. You know, he had his own. You know, he had a slew of artists from Lou Rawls to the Soul Stirrers. You know, he, you know, penned songs for Benny King, and there was just so many people that he influenced directly and indirectly. Bobby Womack. Everything Bobby Womack came from Sam Cooke, literally, even his wife. But let's not go there. I love Bobby Womack. Love Bobby Womack. He's one of the most incredible writers I've ever heard. You know, but a lot of who he was and where he came from, you know, Sam Cooke. You know, so I wanted people to know that. You know, that if they didn't already know his story intimately, I wanted to know his story intimately. Everybody always said, Brad, you look like him, when I don't have the hair. So, you know, I went into about a 3-4 month, like, just zone where I immersed myself in books about him, all the footage that I could find, all the music that I could find, and just, you know, I wanted to be able to embody Sam Cooke when I was on the stage. I wanted all of his mannerisms. I wanted his speech inflections. I wanted how he sang the songs, how he would have sung the songs. And I wanted to tell his story as it, you know, as I studied it, you know. So amazing accomplishment. You know, I actually did the show. Bradd Marquis sings Sam Cooke, and I had, you know, all ages, all ethnicities, all ages, you know, in the crowd. I had a 100-year-old white woman. I had a 13, 14-year-old young black girl. You know, it just spanned that, you know, spectrum, you know, rich, poor. That show, I probably had about 10, 15 millionaires sitting in the crowd. Everybody loved Sam Cooke, you know, walking in off the street. You know, it was an amazing experience. But after that, everything just fell apart. You know, my management crew, I just didn't hear from them anymore. And everything just fell. I'm sitting in the house, like, what am I gonna do here? No job, so, you know, ran out, had to grab a job, and, you know, and that just kind of started a downward spiral as far as my career was concerned. You know, didn't know where to go, how to get there, who to speak to, who to talk to. My producers who I worked with no longer lived in the area. You know, the people who were managing my career were no longer communicating with me. You know, sitting here working just a regular 9 to 5, just, you know, making, you know, minimal amount of money, not even enough to support myself, you know, like I used to. And it was, you know, it's a real disheartening period, which lasted a very long time, very long time. But I decided that in the midst of all of that, I wanted to continue to try, and I wanted to put out an album again. My second album entitled Authentic. And so I collected a lot of songs. Authentic was a lot of songs that I had already written. I had wrote a lot of those songs in 2007. Finding My Way was written in 2006, 2007. Towards the end of 2007, I was working with a group, and they wanted me to write a whole bunch of songs because they wanted to shop my material to record labels. So me and my producer went back in the studio, and we wrote a whole nother album worth of material. But that group didn't sit right with my heart, so I had to walk away from them. Sometimes it's not all about money, man. It's, you know, it's a feel, it's a love, you know. And if I couldn't sleep at night working with the people that I was working with, literally. So I had to walk away from a very potentially lucrative situation, you know. But, you know, we still had the material, and I decided, you know what, Brad, do something with this material. So, you know, I compiled it, sent it to my old engineer, and he mixed and mastered. I wrote a couple new songs, one of them entitled I Want to Be in Love, which became a huge song for me, I Want to Be in Love, off the Authentic album. And, you know, I have a video for it and all of that stuff, and still to this day probably my favorite song to perform. But Authentic was a lot of the situations that happened after I broke up with my fiance, and I know I skipped over that part, you know. But Finding My Way, the first album, I was actually breaking in a relationship with I had a fiance, I was in a relationship, and we were breaking up as I was writing that album. Of course, I didn't know I was gonna break up with her while I was writing the album, but that's, you know, the album just was a lot of the emotions I was experiencing while we were going, you know, in and out, back and forth, because I wanted to be a musician. You know, I had the house, I had the cars, I had the woman, I had a good job, good benefits, all of that, but I was still miserable because it wasn't how I wanted to do it and what I wanted to do. And I wanted to step away from this and change my life. And she's like, dude, are you crazy? Like, why would you do that? You know, but her passion wasn't my passion. You know, so we had to, it just didn't work. You know, and we both went our ways, and we both are where we wanted to be, just not together. You know, and that was Finding My Way. Authentic was all those things that happened after we broke up, the introspection and retrospection, that, you know, me trying to figure out who I was now. Not who I was before or who I was when I was with her, but who do I want to be, who am I, how do I get there? So it was a lot of, you know, confusion going on, organized confusion, because, you know, we had to put it in a song, but, you know, it was, so a lot of that stuff, you know, I Want to Be in Love kind of embodies that whole project. And there's a lot of heartfelt music on both of those projects. So from there, you know, we put out Authentic in about 2011. After, you know, it did minimally well. First 3 months was just incredible. You know, everything out of pocket, all me, no help. Did incredible for the first 3 months. But, you know, after the initial hype died down, like, I didn't have any money, I didn't have anything. I was still living with mom. Like, I didn't have any money, I didn't have anything to really continue to push the album. I didn't have any money to shoot another video. You know, You know, at this point I had lost my job and I was collecting unemployment, so it was not much that I could do to push this project forward. You know, I was doing shows and things in there here and there, but they weren't like, you know, people don't know you. They're not paying large amounts of money to pay for you to come, especially when your fan base and your following isn't that enormous. So from that point, you know, I decided to just really get better. Because one thing that I had learned over the years is that, you know, I was a great singer, I was a great performer, you know, things of that nature, but I needed better songs. I needed better material. And so I just kind of embarked on that, you know, just try and really did a lot of research on, you know, I didn't want what happened authentic to happen again. Like, you know, what could I do to keep it going past 3 months? How could I keep it going for a year and a half? You know, how could I get people more engaged in what I was doing? You know, I had done campaigns like Kickstarter to try and get money up to shoot videos, but there was, you know, when you do things for the first time, you make a lot of mistakes. So I'm just writing down and remembering all the mistakes and things that I made, because if and when I come back, you know, I want to be prepared. So years go by, year go by. You know, we're in 2012, and right now it ain't about music, it's about money. It's about, I can't find a job. I can't find a job anywhere. You know, and everybody, you know, we're in the same economy, so I'm sure a lot of you guys know what's going on, but, you know, it was just very difficult. I'm an artist, I'm a singer, you know, I'm college educated, but, you know, you do something for so long, people just see you in that light, and they don't want to see you as anything else but that, you know. So, and then you have to explain, well, why haven't you worked? Why haven't you done this? And you look, and they're looking at your resume, and you know, okay, I have been working, but I've been working as a musician. You know, I've been working as, you know, an engineer or a writer, and this. So, you know, I've been working. You know, I've been doing branding. I've been doing marketing. So you tell people these things, or you try and put it on your resume in a professional manner, because I own my own record label, so I can put it down as it's a business and what I do for my business. You know, but you own your own business. So how long are you going to be here at this job if we give you the job? So there's a lot of things that's just going on that prevent people from, you know, really taking a chance on you, because they don't, you know, and then if they actually do research on you, and it's not hard, then they see all the things that you've done. It's like, okay, this guy's not going to be here. You know, we don't know if we want to take a chance. We want somebody who's going to be sitting in this seat for the next 20 years. So, you know, this is very difficult for me to find, a job. So I just started doing freelance stuff. Freelance writing, I started working in with karaoke companies where I would sing. You know, I would redo songs, you know, mainstream songs for the company or what have you. You know, paid me, you know, just enough to keep my head above water, things like that. I write for other artists, you know, do marketing, branding, consultation for other artists to help them, you know, and promotion as well. Shows here and there, just whatever I could do to just keep my head above water and to maintain some type of sanity. But, you know, it got frustrating, and I just didn't know if I wanted to even do music anymore. You know, and if I did want to do music, like, what did I want to do? Because again, I came from the church. Eventually I'm going to go back there. You know, everything I do still has a spiritual spiritual inflections on it. You know, so you hear my spirituality in my music, and my love for God and my love for love in, you know, my music. So just going to, just trying to figure, you know, I found a new church home when I was in Jersey, and, you know, that just kind of turned my whole life around, turned my whole world around. You know, the pastor was a young man, he's 34 years old, but he seems like he's 44, 54 as far as maturity, and you know, I could relate. The conversation, the things that he was talking about relate, and it really made me want to invest myself more into the church and into, you know, into finding my way, per se. You know, and you know, I really wanted to decide. It's one thing had eaten me up for a long time is, Brad, do you want to be a secular musical singer, or do you want to be a gospel singer? And one of the main reasons I wanted to be secular music, R&B, soul, was because I wanted to touch more people than gospel. You know, I'd say gospel doesn't touch a lot of people, but, you know, Jesus didn't go, you know, to where all the saints were at. He went and you know, to where the sinners were at, to pull them out, you know, or to speak to them, you know. And I, you know, being that I used to work in a lot of community, you know, environments, welfare worked as a youth advisor, youth counselor in boys' prisons and young girls' prisons, teenage, youth prisons and female youth prisons, for both. So seeing how music influenced their lives and the role models that were not out there made me want to, be a role model for them. I felt like I could be a good public figure, and music would be my initial platform to do that. So, that's what kind of got me into the R&B soul world, and be able to send that message through those avenues. So, as I'm struggling with, because I'm not making any money doing music, so as I'm struggling going back and forth with, okay, Brad, where do you want to be? Where do you want to go? Because I'm not going to stop singing. I'll sing gospel. I'll sing for God for free. But being exploited R&B soul-wise, that's not going to happen. So, I ended up getting involved on the praise team at the church, and, seriously, it was crazy just going from the forefront, being the lead singer to just being part of the background ensemble on the praise team. But it was amazing. It was amazing energy, just singing and just being able to just blend and stay, it was something to do with my talent. So, and I just felt the power of that being in the church setting, and how some people just get ministered through song. Some people don't come to church to get ministered from the word, from the pastor. It's those songs. So it was very important for us to be able to project the right energy on the stage so those people can receive the right energy. So that was it was an eye-opening experience for me. But along the way, I took a lot of classes at the church and really just did a lot of, internal spiritual research, internal research. And when I came up, I realized I wanted to do R&B, and I felt like it was where I needed to be and what I should be doing. I still didn't have any producers though. I still didn't have, I still had been in like a 2-year writer's block. I had a life experiences, but I couldn't write about them. So I decided, you know what, Brad? Don't write a song, write a book. Write about your life, just write. So I just started writing my life story from day one, from the first moment, just started writing. And my girl was working at BET at the time, and she was like, Brad, I got to go to the BET Awards. You want to go? So we ended up flying out to LA for the BET Awards. In the airport, I ran into Akon. I gave Akon one of my CDs, and it just so happens my old producer, Angela Ray, who I told you about earlier, he was a drummer for Akon. Angela Ray is an incredible music director, drummer, producer. He worked with everybody from The Deal, Babyface, Bell Biv DeVoe, Bobby Brown, New Edition. Like he played the drums for all of them. Now he's playing with T.I., Kendrick Lamar, Akon. He's working with everybody now. But so I hit up Angelo, like, Angelo, can you reach out to Akon to see if he listened to my CD and what he thinks, And he was like, well, Brad, what are you trying to do? And I was like, look, man, I need a producer. I want to do another project, but I just haven't been able to find the right producers. I've been working with people, but it's just not what I want. And so he's kind of like, all right, I'll hit him up, see what he says, blah, blah, blah. But he didn't seem like he was interested in working. So 2 weeks later, I get a phone call from Angelo. He's like, excuse me, he's like, Brad, you've been on my heart. My spirit tells me to send you this song. So he sends me a track. He's like, he sends me the hook. He sings the hook to me, and it was a title song of the album, Thank You. And so I wrote the song, and I sent it back to him, and he was like, you know what, dude, whatever you want. So he sent me like his website, all kinds of tracks on it, and he said, take whatever you want. I wrote about 10 songs in 5 days. Full songs. Like everything that was in me just came pouring out, and it just happened, I know it was the right place at the right time because Angelo, I learned under Angelo. His style is my style. I learned a lot of what I know from him. So when he sent me those tracks, it was right. It was exactly what I wanted, but couldn't find anywhere. And 10 songs in 5 days, I didn't sleep that week. And it was incredible. It was like full songs, hooks, bridges, all that stuff. I didn't shortchange anything. Wrote about 20 songs for this project, and we kept 12 of them. Probably release the other stuff later on down the line, but the album just you know, I kept the title Thank You, you know, because it's a thank you. It's a thank you to all the people who supported me all through all of this stuff that I just told you about, all the people who stayed in my corner, all the people who supported me when I couldn't find a job, didn't have any money, you know, couldn't write anything, couldn't really do anything but be me, you know, and letting me know that being me was enough and was more than enough, you know. So this project, Thank You, is you know, after feeling like I've, you know, hit a milestone and figured a lot of things out, you know, about, you know, how to write better songs, how to be a better performer, how to be a better singer, how to be a better brother, a better, you know, boyfriend, a better son, a better, you know, entertainer, a better everything, you know. That's what Thank You is to all those people, you know, for staying by me and sticking with me as I, you know, continue to grow and evolve. I got a ways to go, but, you know, I feel like we just push the refresh button. You know, we can start all, you know, this, you know, it's a third project, but it feels like the beginning, you know, and, you know, in that process, I wrote a business plan. I wrote a marketing plan. I found investors. You know, I found distribution for my record. Like, all the things that I didn't have and I felt that I was lacking, you know, just started happening, just started snowballing, you know, but I was prepared. I had prepared myself. You know, I knew what I wanted to do once it came, and I'm sure that's why it came, because I was prepared to receive it. Whereas the first couple albums and all before, I didn't know what I was doing. I was flipping a coin, man, throwing a rock in the ocean, just hoping something stuck and hoping I would blow up. But now I took more control and was more strategic and specific as to what it was going to look like, what it was going to sound like, who I was going to work with, where we're going to go with it. And I think that's what a lot of artists today should be mindful of, especially indie artists. It's not about just being an artist. That's like 10% of it. We're good at that. We do that. That's cool. That's what we do. We breathe that. We wake up. We do that. We need to learn the other stuff, you know, because business people want to know how they can make money. Money people want to know how they want to make money. You know, so we have, and you know, they don't necessarily always have the greatest imagination or don't want to have the greatest imagination. So you have to show them specifically, point to point. This is how you're going to get your money back, and this is how you may potentially make more money. You know, especially in what we do, because, you know, although I believe music is a necessity, most people view it as a leisure, as a pleasure. I'm sure people would not know what to do in the world if music didn't exist, but they don't view it that way. You know, and music absolutely dictates culture, but they want us to believe that it's just a luxury, and it's absolutely not. So I don't treat it like a luxury. You know, I treat it like a business, because that's what it is, because a lot of people make money off of what we do. But, you know, that's a little bit of, not a little bit, that's a lot of bit of my story. You know, we're here now, you know, 2013, and things are going to a level that I always hoped for, but didn't know how I was going to get there specifically, didn't know if it was going to ever going to happen, and it's happening. And, you know, I just found out I'm like number 74 on iTunes. You know, I'm number 139 on Billboard. It's the first time I've ever charted. My first week out, I made Billboard 130, you know, number 139 on Billboard. My first week out, that's like, really. So I don't even have a video out yet. Video, well, by the time you see this, I know I'll have a video out. But, you know, we just finished it, and, you know, about to come out yet. But all of those numbers, you know, came before we even had the right visuals out there. The visuals are like the thing these days, you know, and it's just like the community that has galvanized around this project. Like, everybody feel like they own a piece of it, because they've been there and been with me through the struggle, and they're just so proud and so happy and so galvanizing, and the word of mouth is just incredible, and it's spreading. And, you know, I'm sure that's one of the main reasons I've made, you know, 139, you know, on Billboard, and, you know, just the internet, the blogs, and the like, everybody's just like, oh, snatching it up, grabbing it up, you know. I'm just like, wow, you hope for that, but when it actually hits, it's like, wow. So, but I don't know. Album is out, entitled Thank You, Bradd Marquis, BRADDMARQUIS. I'm everywhere under that same name: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, you know, Reverb Nation, like anything you can think of, the website.com. email at Gmail, Bradd Marquis. Like, yo, you can hit me up. I send out a newsletter every week. It's about consistency. It's about preparation and consistency. You know, I send out a newsletter every Monday. It's like my reality show, good, bad, and indifferent. You know, and I also throw in some stuff about, you know, music, giveaways, shows, things like that, whatever. But yo, just keep looking out for me, man, and hopefully you like what I'm doing and you help me push to that #1 spot. I want #1. I saw myself on Billboard. I said, man, I want #1 now. 139 is cool. It's nice to be on there, but if you're gonna do it, you might as well do it. So I might not grab it this album. I'm not gonna say I ain't gonna grab it this album, whatever. But I want #1 spot. How's your boy? All right, now let me take it back, because I didn't necessarily shout out my team on this one, and I just want to say a special thank you to Jonathan Bates. You know, he's my partner now, my record label, Soul Man Music Group, and George Littlejohn, you know, who is my distributor. George is, you know, before it's said and done, man, I'm gonna make sure everybody knows who he is, you know, because behind the scene, because of him, artists like myself and so many others, you know, are able to showcase their talent. You know, he handles, you know, he owns a co-owner of Purpose Music Group, Purpose E1, and that is Angel Blessed, that is Eric Roberson, that is Bilal, that is Anthony David, you know, that is Abia. Like it is, Gordon Chambers is a part of that, myself, like it's, you know, Monet, Angela Johnson. There's so many incredible artists. DJ Kemet, there's Kendrick Family Soul. So many artists this guy has his hands on, his pulse on. He, you know, allows us to blossom and grow and do what we do, man. And you know, I always call him Barry Gordy of the indie circuit, you know. So, you know, special thank you to him, and shout out to both of them for, you know, believing in me and investing in me and allowing me to grow helping me grow to the next level. And I hope for all of us we can grab that #1 spot, man, and showcase that what we do is necessary, it works, and those folks who say we ain't got it don't know what they're talking about.
Is there something wrong with me? Why can't I find someone to love?